We have some breaking news that just rocked the Minnesota governor's race. Chris Medel, a Republican running for the Minnesota governor position, who also is a lawyer that represented Renee Nicole Good's murderer, Jonathan Ross, just ended his bid for governor and criticized ICE. Chris Medel, the Minneapolis lawyer who represented the immigration agent who fatally shot Renee Nicole Good, said Monday that he's ending his campaign and says he cannot support the National Republicans' stated retribution on the citizens of their state. 24 hours before this, a separate Republican governor, the sitting Republican governor of the state of Oklahoma, whose name is Kevin Stitt, went onto CNN and denounced the Trump administration and ICE's operations. He says, "What's the end game here? What is even the goal here?" And then he says Donald Trump is getting bad advice. Let me show you this clip. And as always, make sure to drop a like. Make sure to subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed. It genuinely helps boost the message a lot. And check out this Republican governor breaking with Trump and throwing him under the bus.
Broad agreement. President Trump closed the border, promised to get violent criminals out of our country. And I think everybody agrees with that. But now Americans are asking themselves, what is the end game? What is the solution? And, you know, we believe in federalism and state rights, and nobody likes feds coming into their state. And so what's the goal right now? Is it to deport every single non-U.S. citizen? I don't think that's what Americans want. We have to stop politicizing this. We need real solutions on immigration reform. And I believe that I've got a great solution, that we should give the states the authority to do workforce permits, right?
So are you saying that they should pull out of Minnesota?
Well, I think that the president has to answer that question. He is a deal maker, and he's getting bad advice right now. The president needs to let the American people, what is the solution? How do we bring this to conclusion? And I think only the president can answer that question because it's complicated. We have to enforce federal laws, but
Okay, he's almost there. He's almost there. The Republican governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, his heart is in the right place. He's saying, listen, immigration needs to be reformed, but not like this. He even says, what's the end game? Do we really want to deport every non-citizen? At this point, Trump has created more undocumented immigrants by removing temporary protected status from a bunch of groups than he has deported undocumented citizens. So his entire goal, his entire end game is unclear. But then he says, Trump is getting bad advice, which is a way for Republicans to remove any of the actual onus or blame from Trump himself. Dude, all throughout Trump's first term, he was surrounded by people who he repeatedly fired. And then you guys said he got bad advice. It doesn't count. Well, he'll try again. And now you're saying he's getting bad advice again? Maybe he's just inherently authoritarian and he's been hyper-militarizing blue cities for a very specific, very intentional reason. But now he's losing people. So Chris Medel, this is a separate governor, Chris Medel, who is running for Minnesota governor and who represented Jonathan Ross. He made a 10-minute video where he said, I'm ending my campaign for Minnesota governor. In this video, he calls Operation Metro Surge, which is the ICE surge into Minneapolis, a quote, unmitigated disaster. So even Republicans are breaking. This is coming at a time when Democrats in Congress, in both the Senate and the House, are moving to do a few things. Number one, impeach Kristi Noem. That one's important, but it's a little bit farther out. Number two, a deadline that is coming up is the January 31st appropriations bill. At the time of recording this video, that's in 5 days. Democrats are using the leverage they have at their disposal to stop this appropriations bill, or more specifically, let it go through only if Republicans take out the portion that funds ICE, only if Republicans take out the portion that funds the DHS, and only if Republicans allow a full investigation into these killings and defang ICE. We will reform and abolish ICE once Democrats get back into power. We do not want Trump to be the agency that abolishes and rebuilds this agency of ICE. We want to be the ones that do this. But right now, Democrats are using all of the leverage they have available. The operation, Medel said, was an unmitigated disaster. In his video on X, he said it is, quote, wrong that U.S. citizens of color are living in fear and carrying passports to prove their citizenship status. Quote, I cannot support the National Republicans' stated retribution on the citizens of our state, nor can I count myself a member of a party that would do so. The second reason for ending his campaign, Medel said, is that national Republicans have, quote, made it nearly impossible for a Republican to win a statewide election in Minnesota. Medel also said local Republican leaders have done nothing to investigate fraud in the state, which is the purported reason for Operation Metro Surge and the 3,000 federal agents who have since descended on Minnesota. Medel originally made headlines in 2024 when he represented a different state trooper who was charged with murder after he shot and killed a man during a traffic stop on Interstate 94. The charges against the trooper were dropped. He then went on to represent Renee Nicole Good's murderer, who is Jonathan Ross. So this man is by no means some liberal or paid agitator. He is a Republican who is changing his mind. As Charlotte points out, Chris Medel was one of the leading Republican candidates in the Minnesota governor's race. He's a lawyer for the agent who murdered Renee. He just announced he's dropping out because ICE has gone too far. I won't play the full 10-minute video, but there's a lot of great quotes in there. He said, quote, "At the end of the day, I have to look my daughters in the eye and tell them I believe I did what is right, and I am doing that today." Then, crazy cockeyed Kash Patel does an interview on Benny Johnson's show. Benny Johnson was getting money, quite literally from Russia, and now officials are doing interviews with him. You know, sometimes I wonder, like, hey, if I don't brush my hair enough, are officials going to stop coming to my show? But no, look at the Republicans. They are going on the show of people who quite literally take money from Russia. Donald Trump went on Tim Pool's show when Tim Pool quite literally took money from Russia. Aaron Rupar reports Kash Patel sniffing heavily on Benny Johnson's show. Quote, "The investigation's ongoing into the funding of this. We've made substantial progress. I just can't publicize it." So not all Republicans are turning on Trump. Many of the Republicans who are in vulnerable positions or who actually have to win elections are trying to moderate the situation and saying, we are going to put some daylight between us and Trump. But people like Kash Patel, they're already in the administration. They're already along for the ride, and they're saying this while sniffing heavily.
And that's the distinction. If you want to go out there and peacefully protest, have at it. You want to go out there and use your Second Amendment right to bear arms, okay, no problem. But look at the situation in Minnesota. This is not something that just happened overnight. They've been rioting recklessly, destroying federal vehicles, ramming federal agents, literally hitting them, striking them, and as you just highlighted, using coordinated attacks to threaten their families. None of that is lawful, and none of that will be tolerated. You do not get to touch law enforcement. And we've got also investigations ongoing into the funding of this. We've made actual substantial progress. I just can't publicize it yet, but we've actually found groups and individuals responsible for funding it because it's not happening organically.
All right, there are so many offensive things about what Kash Patel just said. He said at one point, you can't touch law enforcement and expect nothing to happen. Alex Preddy never touched the law enforcement. They escalated on him and still murdered him. At the end, he says they've made significant progress on the paid agitators, essentially, that are being paid off by these funded groups. That is so offensive to the millions of Americans who are out there truly protesting, truly concerned. You're going to tell me this man in Minnesota who is just pissed off is a paid agitator?
Damn! Just chill. Okay. I'm fine. I don't even breathe anything. I'm just angry. I'm 7 years old. Fucking angry. Oh, fuck off.
You're going to tell me that this man is a paid agitator. The only person who is agitating is Donald Trump, who is now, after he's getting thrown under the bus by Republicans, subsequently trying to throw Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary, under the bus. I made a video about this earlier, but Donald Trump has now, quote unquote, expressed displeasure with the Department of Homeland Security, even though he's the one that ordered them to go all in on the cover-up. Now, he announced that he's sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He says, quote, he has not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. So he's essentially ceding that he does not like the way Kristi Noem and the DHS have handled this, so he's sending in his own stooge, Tom Homan, who is an absolute bumbling moron. He sounds like an idiot whenever he talks. He says, Tom is tough, but fair. He's neither of those things. He goes on TV and whines in a very unfair, biased manner. He says he will report directly to me. Okay, how are you going to say he's fair when he reports directly to you? Everything's going to get filtered through you? rather than Tom Homan. So Trump is so scared of getting thrown under the bus. He knows the pressure is coming from both Republicans and Democrats that he's sending Tom Homan to further be the fall guy as Kash Patel continues to go on TV and try to cover this up. Take a look.
You can't conspire in order to attack federal agents. This is something that is at scale. They have license plate readers. They're able to identify these agents. They're able.
I just want you to know that if any of us, me, you, anyone watching this video, were executed in the street by an ICE agent or a Border Patrol agent, they would go on the news. These people right here would come on the next day and say that we were domestic terrorists colluding to take down a massive amount of officers through a mass shooting. Just sickening. Here's Kash Patel asking the key question that we've been asking, for years.
People to do. What I'm asking people to do is on the ground in Minnesota is, why would you bring a firearm in a situation that is so volatile right now, where so many arrests have been made, where so many people are coordinating to attack?
I don't know. Why would the ICE agents and the Border Patrol agents in a situation that is so volatile continue to escalate with pepper spray? Also, we can point to countless right-wing militias and protests and even January 6th where people had weapons because that is your Second Amendment right. I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.